It had been a very difficult year for me and my family for a few reasons, but there was also so much positivity and so much joy from spending extra time together. I wanted the book to focus on love, family, nature, and all the things that we can enjoy even at the height of lockdown restrictions. The small scale of the book led me to focus on a very small yet positive theme: how we spend our time together. There were other more serious and negative themes I could have addressed that had arisen in 2020, including loss, work stress, illness, that may have fitted in a bigger book, but I really enjoyed concentrating on a positive theme that probably, thankfully, had more of an impact on me in 2020 than the hard times anyway. The themes explored in my book are love, family, comfort, motherhood, nature, positivity, and fun, because these are the things that get you through hard times. I really enjoyed the space and time to rethink what was important to me during lockdown and the pandemic. I'd already been experimenting with materials that I used frequently during the pandemic, and the J-cloth actually worked really well on a small scale. My piece represents that I spent a significant portion of the pandemic cleaning, sanitising equipment and furniture for my job. Cleaning gives me time to think and consider what I want to do next, what is truly important, and the things that bring me joy. The tiny flowers from cleaning products represent growth while still being conscious of the restrictions around me. Tiny things are adorable. I love the idea of a tiny collaborative space of creativity that allows many to engage with a similar theme. I love the way it's been curated and displayed to show the range and depth. Writing the book helped my emotional well-being because it made me feel very thankful and a little bit sentimental. I enjoyed reflecting and also doing something creative for the first time in many years. I think it's wonderful that we can access these wonderful courses and be part of something collaborative. Before lockdown, I was always busy, rushing from one thing to another. Lockdown has given me a chance to stay local, observe quietly, and slow down. All these things have made me feel healthier and more content. I love writing, so restricting myself to such a tiny book meant that every word had to count. I needed to take greater care to be precise and to choose wisely. I wanted to show both the challenge and the symbols that have guided me through lockdown. The rainbow is such an emotive reminder of this time, and in the book it joins the two types of trees that have helped me this year: the trees of my nearby park and the family tree that I'm researching. My frequent walks in nature and the stories of my ancestors have given me a wider landscape to think about whilst being locked down and unable to travel as I would like to. Writing this book helped my emotional well-being because I was determined to create a positive book, and it made me really examine how the pandemic has affected me and how there have been silver linings in this tragic time. I loved being part of such a varied group of people. It made me challenge some of my assumptions and pay attention to each person as they explain their different experiences. I loved every second of the project. This project and these people brought me so much joy and self-discovery. In the beginning, I loved having the family together, safe in the house, and how the community came together. But as time dragged on, it became more difficult to stay positive. It was interesting and different art challenge for me, working at this scale, having been used to creating large abstract work, but I really enjoyed it. At the beginning of lockdown, I would walk regularly around Cheadle, Hume and Bramall and felt really good for having done it. Now I'm back at work and there are lots more things to access. I don't walk as much. I enjoyed creating this tiny bit of work and working with my friend who is also doing the course. It's been a pleasure being part of the whole process. The theme I explored in my story was the initial fear of the pandemic, but then getting out into the local community, getting fresh air and seeing people so that you return from your work feeling more positive. The whole process of creating my book was a positive one. The creativity, meeting other like-minded people. Even though the pandemic has been incredibly difficult at times, it has made me realise I can face and adapt to new challenges. I also realised how important creativity is for my own well-being and keeping people connected throughout the lockdowns. I really enjoyed the small scale, and with the set parameters, it felt less overwhelming. If I hadn't had those boundaries, I would have struggled to decide or commit to an idea. Glass houses always feel like a little green world of their own, where you can escape for a while. Plants and green spaces became even more important to me during lockdown, and my piece, for We Are Mini Dreamers, represents all the gardens and glass houses I was looking forward to visiting as places started reopening and we could travel further afield. I enjoyed having something to focus on when making this piece and be absorbed in while things felt quite uncertain. I loved the challenge of fitting my work into such a small space. Seeing what other people have been dreaming of made me reflect on how tiny moments and simple activities can mean so much but are often taken for granted. I've realised that making time for ourselves is as important as making time to spend with others. When being kept from those we love, it is undeniably difficult, but it can allow room to explore ourselves in ways we might not otherwise have had the chance to do. Lockdown taught me to look for opportunities rather than waiting for them to happen. When making artwork, I often get lost in the details. Working in miniature allows me to focus my creative energy into one small, complete piece. If I had made my pieces on a larger scale, I feel they would still feature lots of tiny, hidden surprises. My piece represents the things I dream of. A consistent dream throughout my life has been owning a home of my own. I dream of a place of total peace and freedom, a stable place of comfort. Each miniature represents a room or setting within the home that I dream of, a garden to tend to and to sit for inspiration, a library lined wall to wall with books, hundreds of miniature worlds held within my own miniature world. Finally, the art studio, a place specifically designed to invoke creativity and freedom of expression. Creating artwork is always a positive experience for me. It is a cathartic experience to bring an idea to physicality. In a way, it felt as though I was manifesting my dreams and goals through the medium of art. Seeing them displayed alongside so many other wonderful little artworks was a heartwarming realisation of my efforts. I'm very grateful to be involved in such a wonderful project. Miniatures have their own unique charm, and I'm so pleased to see this being brought to our local community. Seeing people's dreams represented through art is a thought-provoking and comforting experience. I've enjoyed walking through Stockport as the exhibition has been displayed and seeing the public looking at the works. Writing about my pandemic experience helped me recognise that there were positives to come out of the pandemic, and I'm more resilient and able to adapt to challenges than I thought at the time. It was good to hear other ideas on the course, their thoughts and feelings during the project. It felt like there was a lot of commonality, and together we were creating something positive from our experiences. Also, I loved learning creative writing techniques, as this is something I had just no confidence in doing before. It was really enjoyable, and the sessions were the highlight of my week. I created the Inspiration Monsters series for We Are Mini Dreamers. Brightly painted matchbox, little poofs with eyes painted inside. Working in this small scale is a challenge. I like a challenge though. Yes, I would probably have done something different if it had been a larger size. I liked the concept and went with it. I found myself in the comfort of writing during the pandemic. Writing is relieving in that your inner thoughts are being fleshed out onto the page. The simple act in itself is helpful. Painting is my zen. It's calming for me to paint. Thank you for creating these projects. I really look forward to participating in future. During the pandemic, I have blossomed more as an artist. I feel more passionate about it. The sense of the importance of documenting this time in history. This is my passion. I lived my life. I am here.